Mora.
Haya.
As you close your mouth. Wanna touch it?
Mama.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I hope you've been enjoying episode 1 and 2 so far. This is Parenting Alpha's episode 3. Like we said, we just want to make this thing very personal, very practical. So in as much as we introduced you to the books we have, we're still tied to the experience that we've had as parents. Mm-hmm. And in this episode, as you've seen on the title, we just want to tell you about our parenting experience. What is parenting? How has it been for us? Now, when we became parents, and our parenting dynamics were very, very interesting because we became parents just at the advent of COVID. Actually, the day Remani was announced, hey, you are given birth to a healthy baby boy, is the day President Uhuru at the time came and said, hey, COVID-19 is in the country. And so our parenting, a lot of things about that COVID influenced how our parenting was. Like now all of us were in the house, we were not going to work and all that. We fought a lot during that time. And of course, the moment you become parents, it becomes a point of, struggle more. Because that's when you discover, Soila's parenting style is like this and mine is like this. So there's that tension. One of the things that we struggled a lot with was the whole financial stuff. I was like, hey, Soila, we need a lot of, we need cash. You can see the prices of diapers and all these things. I don't think my salary alone at this point can be able to cater for everything. And Soila was not keen to go back to work. And that thing was bugging me because, she was being a mom and she felt like she really needs to just stay at home for a while. And I really couldn't understand. I really had a problem with that. And it's something that I kept bringing up. Soila, get a job. Soila's like, no. Soila, find something. Soila, we need extra income. Soila's like, no. And it was just a big fight. And those fights that don't end, you sort it out and then 2 weeks later it comes up again, it's a problem. It was that kind of stuff. Until I got hold of this book, Hold On to Your Kids. And I just started reading about what the writer was saying about the first 3 years of a child's life. And I kept hearing that with a lot of child psychologists, the first 3 years. So I started just doing a quick research. What is it about the first 3 years?
Right. You have little kids for 4 years, and if you miss it, it's done. That's it.
How important are the first 1,000 days of a child's life?
The second sensitive period of brain development is during infancy and early childhood.
You get the first 3 years right, you can relax.
Specifically, the first 3 years of life.
If you don't get the first 3 years right, you'll be practicing remedial parenting for decades.
The first 3 years of life, I think, are the magical years for intervention.
When I discovered the truth, guys, I had to repent. I told God, I'm sorry. This is what you've been trying to do. This is what you're actually trying to show me. The first 3 years of a child's life is very, very important, especially with the parent being present. All right? There's actually a difference between a child who grew up with present parents as compared to a child who was just left at home, probably with the nanny and the housekeeper and all that. I actually usually say, consider yourself blessed if you have a job that allows you to be present with your growing kids and still make money. Because usually the way life is structured, you have to sacrifice one. Either you will sacrifice family for the sake of money, or you sacrifice making money and be in your family. So if you're a person who has both, you find yourself in a situation where you can do both, consider yourself blessed?
I think for me, even me not probably wanting to go back to work is because I wasn't there psychologically. I hadn't thought through the importance of probably a mother being present for a kid for the first 3 years. My only reason for not going back is because of corporate hurts. That's what I'd say. It
What
made
does
me
that
not
mean?
go back. I was just hurt from the corporate place, professionally, toxic work environment. It made me hate being employed. So I just thought, and that's why I was not in a hurry to apply. If I had a really smooth working experience, like the last work that I had, it would have been easy for me to apply for another job. But just the aspect of me experiencing a toxic work environment made me reluctant in applying for another job opportunity. But I mean, anything comes with it. There are goods, there are bads. And I mean, yes, there was financial constraints, but Remani enjoyed the best parts of just having me around him, So yeah.
Now this is James Dobson. This is what James Dobson says. The effects of feelings of warmth and closeness appear to be addictive. All right? Like how you get addicted to cigarettes or alcohol or something. That's how the effects of the feelings of warmth and closeness are to children. Since parents are usually the meaningful source of social support in early life, the perception of parental love and caring may have important biological and psychological health and illness implications throughout life. They did a study over a period of 40 years, and the study shows that 91% of college men who reported lack of closeness with their mothers had a greater risk of developing coronary heart disease, duodenal ulcers, and high blood pressure or alcoholism in their later years. Now, these are studies they've been doing for decades. And I just found it interesting because you would think those early years in a child's life really have, they don't even remember, they are too young, they don't remember experiences and all that. But apparently, the first 3 years subconsciously have an impact on that child's personality. It has an impact on that child's physical health, as we are reading. It has an impact on that child's future relationships. So if you're always absent as a parent, it's going to have an impact there. The other book was actually saying that children who grew up in stressed homes, like the parents are always stressed, either because of work or financial issues or whatever, they develop a higher chance they have a higher chance of developing asthma because of a stressed home environment. So the first 3 years of a child's life, some say 4, some say 3, but it's very, very integral in the parent just being present. And for me, when I learned that, I stopped putting so much pressure on her, because I was like, I know you hadn't read the book when you're doing it, but I think in hindsight, God just foresaw the importance of, you being there during that time. Yeah.
I think it's a privilege because, again, we can't write out people who are not able to stay at home and parent, because with this economy is like, some people are single moms and they have to fend for their children and leave the kids at home, go fend for them. For me, it's now probably the place for you to find a balance, of which I don't know if there's a balance. There's never a perfect balance. You'll just have to know what to sacrifice and what to give. Because I don't know if there's something like work-life balance. I'm trying to consider that single parent, or not even a single parent, a full house, but they need the both incomes coming in to support, because either that or you guys sleep hungry. But again, there's a place of whereby, like, even for us, we had to cut down on our lives expenses. We had to move to a smaller house. We had to consider, like, rent had to be cheap. Now we are surviving on one rent, one salary. So rent had to be, there are those things that you have to consider for the sake of the children. And that's why it's very important to plan for your lives even before you give birth. These are conversations when you're now married and you're now planning to have children, to consider what is our role as a husband, as a wife, now when children come into picture. It's good that you have come across this information. It's important for you even to go find the books and read and understand the importance of raising very good kids for the society, or responsible children for the society. And for sure, we cannot raise kids when we are outside the home. We raise them when we are inside the home. They watch a lot. I was telling Curtis, a weekend in itself is not enough to parent.
Yeah.
Those, you wake up late, the kids, and then they go to bed early. Most of the time they're playing outside. It's not enough. If there's a probability, and it's just unfortunate that it's the work system that we have in our country. I don't know about other countries, but in our countries, it's unfortunate that the work environment that is given is very demanding of you to leave home and be in the office. That's when they think that you're more productive. COVID came with positives and negatives. And the positives is now parents got to work from home. People got to spend time with family. Yes, people got to work from home. And even now, there are people who've shut down their offices. Now everybody works from home. And it's such a beautiful privilege because now you can go to spend time with your families. So it's for you to decide, how are we going to do this parenting journey? If it's for one of you to be at home and you survive on a smaller money that comes in, well and good. If you still think that you cannot cut down on your lifestyle and you want to explore for the both of you to still work, I mean, it's your choice. But for sure,
I think
children love you at home.
It's really a conundrum because I'm really thinking about the single parents you're talking about.
Yes.
Because now, how do they make money?
They make money. They have to go to work.
They have to go to work, and I don't know. It's really just up to you to figure out what wisdom.
It's up to God and you, for sure.
Yes, because that child needs you. That child really, 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 really needs you.
Both things are important.
Yeah. So, yeah, like we said, as we are just giving you what worked for us.
We're just starting up a pot.
Yeah, we're giving you the information. What you do with that information, I think that depends with the wisdom that you get from God, and also just consulting people around you who are knowledgeable, or even your parents. Our parents, but our parents grew up at a different time. During the days of our upbringing, we were kind of raised. There's an African
community.
proverb. Yeah, there's an African proverb that says it takes a village to raise a child.
So even if your married was not around,
for us, we become so westernized, so modernized. Everybody's by themselves
in an apartment enclosed in your own compound somewhere.
So unless you go live in the rural areas where there'll be aunties and uncles and grandparents to take care of your kids. It's really a tricky situation. So, and
I know of single parents who have allowed their kids to go to their shoshos, and they've been raised by shoshos. I mean, there's still that aspect of motherly love and care and all that from a grandmother that they get. And they have said kids who are raised by their shoshos are very spoiled. And it's true, sometimes they're very spoiled because shosho does not discipline. So you just come in and like, my baby has gotten spoiled. But I think when a mother has considered that, they've actually seen the importance of, instead of me leaving my kid or my children with a nanny, they are better off with my mother. Some have even allowed their moms to come and live with them, particularly the single parents, to just come and live with them and be the ones who are like, as she provides or as he provides, there's somebody else who's catering for the care of the children. And then in the evenings and then over the weekends, and sometimes when she has holidays, she really spends her time with her kids, taking them out and all that. I mean, because I'm just thinking, when a mother is not in the picture, there's a guardian who still takes hold and takes part in showing care and love towards that kid. So it's not all doom and gloom. There are many ways to skin that particular rat.
To make a small decision, see the track to the point. Further injury to the tendons and muscles. Infection from getting worse.
No.
Antibodies to prevent.
Imora does not understand your practice. Imora.
She didn't think it went pretty well.
Stop. No.
So I couldn't pay them.
Imora? No.
I put the relief.
What?
I set it up. I sat on the table.
You listen to that and not me?
It's the base. Now let me just get a bit deep into this so that you understand why the first 3 years. So there's something there's something child psychologists refer to as attachment theory. So what attachment theory suggests, it doesn't suggest, it has been proven. What attachment theory, hey, what is it? What attachment,
Just swept off my foundation.
what attachment theory shows is that the first 3 years of a child, okay, children are introduced to life in 2 ways. There's what we call the attachment theory, all right? And there's what we call, the opposite of that is peer orientation. Now, children are born with this need to naturally attach to an adult in their life. And normally that's the parent. When children are born, they have no clue for life. They don't know how to interact with life. They have no clue for how to behave. They have no clue of how to think and all that. So they learn a lot from their parents. If you're a parent, you've seen this. Your child will pick up the most minute things that you think they are not noticing because they are picking up on their cues of life from you. So psychologically, emotionally, and physically, they get their support structure from the parent or the caregiver that is constantly at home. All right? So that is what we call attachment. It is a closeness, a very deep, almost sacred closeness that a child has with a parent. It is what guides them. It's what builds their confidence through life. Now, when the parent is not around, or when the caregiver is not constantly available, the need doesn't disappear. The attachment doesn't get away. It's still there. But now it has to be hooked on somebody. So since it's not the parent, it is hooked on someone. And what happens when parents are not around, it's peers who are around. So when children do not attach well to their parents, they attach to their peers, which is what we call peer orientation. Now the problem is that your peers are just as stupid as you, especially if you're kids. They have no wisdom for life. They have no enough experience to be able to guide you. So you find kids who, because the parent is not around, they begin to get more attached to their peers. So the peers become their cues for life. So they do what their peers do. A child goes to school, it's easy for them to speak as the peers do. It's easy for them to behave the way the peers do. And sometimes that's problematic. Now, there's a difference between socialization and orientation. Children are supposed to be socialized with other kids, but they are not supposed to get their orientation to life from other kids. They're supposed to be oriented in life with other. I remember when we were in uni, we met in Daystar, and the first day you got to Daystar, there was this group called doulos. And the work of doulos was to orient you. It was called orientation. So basically, they were to condition your mind on how to think about the school throughout that week. This is what you do with academics. This is what you do with off campus. This is what you do with the program of the school. They are basically conditioning you to the system of the school. Orientation. So the work of a parent is to condition the child's mind to how life is supposed to be. You are basically shaping the child's mind view, or rather world view or mindset. So if you are not there, it means that part is going to be played by other kids, by other peers. All right? Now the problem is other kids don't know how to do that. And we'll talk about how that plays out, including how bullying comes about and how your child becomes, a victim of bullying and all that. So the first 3 years of a child's life is really the foundation, of a child. I usually say a child is like a tree. You don't see the roots of the tree. It's the roots that determine the strength of us as to how that tree is going to grow. Same thing with a child. You don't see the roots of the child, and the roots of the child are the first 3 years. You don't see them. Even the child may not consciously remember those things.
Yes.
But it is those things that shaped who they are. Yes. It is those things that shaped how they think, how they feel about things, how they react to situations, the whole thing. So those are the importance of the first 3-4 years of a child's life. And so now I know some of you are thinking, oh my gosh, this information is coming now. My child is already past 3. Did I mess up? What do I do? I do believe that we serve a God of second chances. And the way God created human beings are able to adjust, if I may call it that. So if your child is already past 3 and you feel like, oh Lord, I spent too much time working, I never spent enough time with your kids, you can still do something to recoup. However, After 3 years, it becomes harder.
Yeah.
That's what the studies show. After 3 years, it becomes harder to impart values. It becomes harder to orient them. It becomes harder to just basically shape who they are. So it is still possible, but you'll have more work to do after 3 years than if
you did it when they were still malleable and moldable. Yeah, I think it just emphasizes mostly on the culture that you're talking about in the previous video. Emphasizing on the home culture, and you can't create a culture if you're not present.
Exactly.
It needs presence for you to be able to guide them and inculcate them into a certain way of viewing, because I think culture much more, it's based on how you as a parent is living, and they see that. If they see you, how you respond to one another, how you're constantly out, when they come to hang out with you, you're constantly go play with your friend. When they come to hang out with you, like go watch TV, because like,
and parents, we do that a lot.
We do that.
And
we do that also.
And the truth, I think to be honest, parenting is work.
It's a lot of work.
And sometimes you don't have the energy. And the easiest thing to do is go play with your friends.
Yes, go outside.
Go watch TV.
Yes.
So these are the things you need to be conscious about. Of course, your kid needs to play and they need to watch a cartoon here and there. But be very careful how often you do that. Yeah. Because you can easily, let me tell you, 3 years is not a long time. That 3 years can pass so fast, and by the time you realize, you are like, oh my gosh, I have no relationship with my child.
Exactly.
And the thing about parenting is not buying the best clothes. It's not buying the most expensive toys. It's not taking your kids to the best schools and vacations and holidays, and all those are good.
Parenting is you.
Parenting is relationship. Parenting is relationship.
And sometimes when a kid, like, just referring to that past conversation, is when a kid comes to you, there's probably, as you say, there's probably a need to attach. They may leave their friends outside, they may leave that TV that was playing, and they want to come to mama, they want to come to dada. There's something they are looking for. And if they come and then you chase them away, and then constantly they keep on coming, you go, give them another responsibility. Oh no, you play. If anything, some parents give them a phone. You go play with this game, so that you just leave me alone. I want to be, and I understand sometimes as parents
you just want your time.
And let me tell you, it will take 15 minutes and they leave you because they're already fed up. You filled up their cups, and they're like, okay, now I don't need mommy for now. They'll come again after 3.5 hours. But for sure, it's those little moments of kids wanting your attention. Then you're like, you're nagging, mommy baby me, because Reman is like, mommy baby. He just wants to hang out around the mother or around the father to just fill up his attachment cup.
Yeah.
It's not, there's nothing, parenting is not such a magnanimous thing. It's the same things we say, it's the little foxes that spoil the broth.
It's the small things.
It's the small pieces that fill up a big puzzle.
Yeah.
It's those small things. It's those moments of and it takes a lot of intentionality and wisdom to actually understand the needs of your child. You've seen kids who cry when you go off to work, and most people have come to conclude that sometimes it's how the nanny handles them.
Actually,
and they can't stand.
Yes, that's one of the big signs that your child has attached well to you. They cry when you go to work.
Yeah.
When you come home in the evening, they're excited. They want to see you and hug you. Remani, hey! I was telling Soila, I don't know what happens to Remani and Soila. Remani sees Soila, he loses
Yeah.
excitement. Paka easy.
Hey.
I'm like, what the heck is that? There's such a beautiful attachment between the two of them. But that's how you check, all right? If your child has, you come back from work and they look at you and they turn back to the TV or whoever they are doing, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
It's a bad sign.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's just for you to start working towards ensuring that attachment is there. But I mean, more of this conversation is going to come up in the many episodes that are coming up. But for now, allow us to close this video so we can go to the next
but
conversation.
just before you close, there's something I want to jump on what you said. I like what you said about the attachment cup being fed. The attachment is like hunger for stomach. You can't constantly eat throughout the day. There are moments you get angry as soon as you satisfy that hunger. There are moments you get hungry. As soon as you satisfy that hunger, you're okay. That's how the attachment need works with kids. So like Soila said, sometimes your kid will come for you and all they need is 15 minutes of your presence and communication and you engaging them. You know, after that, they are okay. That's all you need. That's all you need. So
be intentional with that 15 minutes. Ensure that you put your phone away. Don't receive that phone call one-on-one with your baby.
Yeah.
Just the things can wait. The house is not burning. It's not an emergency.
Yeah.
Sidri, it's not an emergency. This here is an investment for the future.
That Instagram DM is not an emergency.
It's not an emergency.
It can wait.
It can wait. If they're there it's not an emergency, guys.
Yeah.
This here, that baby, that time is an emergency.
Guys,
investment for the future.
I can't tell you the number of times we've been in the middle of, as you can see, that's why we're at the Mint Hub, by the way. We're at the Mint Hub because shooting at home and Reman is there. There are a lot of times we've had to stop shooting because the boy needs his time and we are parents. We can't say where we are shooting. Sometimes we do that.
Oh, we've done that. And we put him here. You had him still insisting on stop whatever you're doing. We need to.
Yeah. So sometimes we'll say, okay, let's finish 15 minutes and then we take care of him. So yeah, just create time. It's necessary.
It's necessary.
Yeah. So like, comment, share, subscribe,
and follow Mint Hub.
Yeah.
If you're a parent and you want to work, run away from your children. Come to Mint Hub.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right. Bye, guys.